Its whole body, there's its head, goes down, rib cages, arms laying out this way. There's his foot. So he fell backwards. His head died and then froze, or somebody killed him. I like to think that he slipped on a crack, fell backwards, and died. It was an accident.
A goddess who buys faith by hiding secrets is sure to have a few of her own. We should not be surprised.
Lodged between rows of crystalline rock, a large fragment of metal protrudes. It looks as though it might be possible to pry it loose, pull out the metal fragment. At your touch, the splinter of metal begins to glow orange. Heat surges up your hands and arms and envelops you with such intensity you feel as though you are melting down. The heat spreads to the world around you, turns it orange and then yellow and then white. The ground, the sky, everything around you drips in molten globs and begins to take shape beneath you as if in an invisible mold. You and the shard are the last thing to melt and fall, and your addition to the molten pool completes the shape of an immersive hammer. The metal cools as quickly as it had heated. The handle is gripped now by two great leathery hands, and the hammer is cocked back over a shoulder as broad as molten as a hilltop. The wielder whirls around and heaves the hammer, and you are flying upward for what seems like ages into the airless blackness above. As you spin, you catch glimpses of a rock large enough to be a moon. It is close, far too close to the world. The force of the impact shatters hammer and stone alike. The rock is redirected towards, but a section of the front face is cleaved off and begins to fall, splintering apart at the cracks. In 100,000 fragments, blossoming outward in all directions, debris showers the atmosphere, trailing smoke and fire. Below, land and sea are far off, but gradually rising up. Look at the land. Features are becoming clearer by the moment as you streak towards the earth. You are lodged in an enormous boulder, falling among other smaller fragments that heat and burst around you on all sides. Beneath you, snow-capped mountains rise up, dotted here and there by cities of stone and Adra. The impact will be the destruction of all of them. The largest of the fragments, wide as a city, barrels towards in a fiery cocoon. Its size reduces as the edge immolate, but it won't burn up in time. It lands silently in the distant ocean, sending a column of water skyward and radiating ripples that spread like sprinkles in fabric. Then the sound comes tearing up through the sky. It sounds like thunder. The shadow of your rock fragment is visible now, getting larger by the second. You're moments away from striking the ground when a massive shape throws itself into your path. The last thing you hear sounds like another rumbling impact. That isn't what it is. It's a chuckle, relieved, breathless. You hear two words. Made it. Everything goes dark. You open your eyes. The metal hammer fragment has come free, and now hold it in your hands. It is warm to the touch. The air around you is suddenly turbulent, spiteful. A cold, damp wind whips your face. Salt crystals collect in your nostrils and the creases of your eyes. The floor below you becomes blue-gray and glassy, churning and rolling, and when you fall, you crash through water. Violent waves swirl and spin you. Something slithers around your ankles, seizes you with incredible strength, drags you down into silty depths.
This is very good.
When the pulling stops, you are hovering at the center of an endless blue abyss. You can see neither surface nor floor. You seem to be facing downwards, but there is no way to be sure. A voice sounds from everywhere at once, and the immense pressure wave of each utterance sends you reeling.
Deceitful wretch! Grave robber! You who dig for that which you did not bury, speak! Explain yourself and be judged!
I seek a means of defeating an army that threatens my lands.
You seek what is mine! What was rightfully lost!
The outburst propels you, sending you end over end.
Your actions speak for themselves. The battery opened. The forge ignited. You set free souls that hid from me. That stole from me and evaded my judgment. The dwarves sealed their own fate. The forge was meant to be forgotten. And now, here you are again, denying peace to the buried.
The turbulence around you calms. Silt settles like a slow exhalation, and the vast dark seascape beyond the murk fades in. Rays of light trickle down from far above onto green gold columns of kelp that rise from the depths and sway back and forth in the current. Fish and mollusks patrol them in groups of hundreds and thousands. The nearest pass you with watchful eyes. The army that destroyed the dwarves, the eyeless, are they yours?
What the world casts aside, I take into my care. A thing may be forgotten, but it is never alone as long as I am here. They were lost children, abandoned, fixed on a purpose that no longer had meaning. I took them in, gave them new purpose. I did not create them, but yes, they are mine.
Who created the eyeless, if not you?
You must have some idea. The metal bones, the hands shaped for building. Who else but Abidan could conceive such children? They were his assistants. They carried out his work on Eora. He shaped their bones in the White Forge, breathed his own spirit into them as a bellows sparks a flame. But he has long been the overseer of progress in the world. Leaving things behind has always been his way. I allow him to leave his past in my care, so that it does not hold him back.
You and Abaddon have a unique connection then.
I suppose we do. But then, the gods have always been able to accomplish far greater things when working together.
Nearby, you see a shark pass through a school of fish. The fish scatter, evading the predator. I had something else to discuss about the eyeless.
Speak your mind.
You haven't given me the whole truth about the eyeless, have you?
Careful what you accuse a god of, mortal.
Water around you is suddenly icy. You can feel its sap, the heat from your veins. Abaddon didn't abandon those creatures. You made him forget them. Otherwise, he might remember how he died.
And what if I did, mortal? It does him no harm to forget. On the contrary, it lifts a burden. If Abaddon remembered, it would threaten the harmony between the gods. It was not so long ago that conflict between us led to disaster in your world, and the death of one of our number. Memory is but an image we create to make sense of the present. It carries no truth or meaning but what we ascribe. A slight alteration to it is a small price to pay for peace.
I'll take that over another war, I suppose.
The peace between the gods is already fragile. It will not withstand another shock. You may ask.
What do you mean the forge is meant to be forgotten?
It was never meant for mortal use. Such power, such truths lie within it. It can bring only ruin. When the Pargrunin came to the White March, they were peaceful. They shared common beliefs and purpose. Their visions for the Forge tore them apart. You have seen this for yourself. They would have destroyed themselves in the end.
See your point.
I mourned the loss of the Pargrunin. Misfortune brought them here. They did not deserve to end so soon.
What are the bones of one god doing sealed in the temple of another?
Do not play coy with a god, Watcher. I know you have seen his death. I feel it whenever a forgotten thing is taken from me. Abaddon did not deserve to die here. This place, it was the least I could do to give his remains some privacy.
The least you could do?
The least I could do for ending his life.
Light drains from your surroundings. The kelp forest becomes a copse of black tendrils, stark and twisted as regret.
I called the moon down to me, Eoni brother. It was against his wishes. He would not listen to reason, would not listen to me. In his madness, he splintered the moon, but it was not enough. The greatest of the fragments still fell toward that which he would protect. In the end, he took position where it would fall, and absorbed the impact himself.
I thought Belafa and Kaldha were the moons.
Eoni brother is their smaller sibling, tiny next to them.
Small enough that the world would survive its impact. But why the temple? Why the secrecy?
That time has been forgotten now, and so his death belongs to me. Everything he was before the impact.
But you slew another god. Surely the other gods knew this. Surely Abaddon must know. Current surges through the kelp bed, pushing each plant sideways like saplings in a hurricane and propelling you backwards amidst a torrent of wayward fish.
No! He cannot know! He must never know! Understand, he was not always as he is now. His body was not all he left behind. He was devoted to progress and industry from the beginning. but so too was he devoted to preservation. In those times he would let nothing go. Nothing could be forgotten. His will was iron long before his body.
What was it he was trying to preserve?
Time has finished much of what I started. I cannot tell you that, mortal, for fear of undoing all its costly work.
Preservation, so that was why he went so far to oppose you.
We agreed long ago, all of us, not to alter the course of Kith's civilization. Not directly. Not unless there were no other choice. But in this matter, there was no other choice. He understood that as well as anyone. It was for duty that he opposed it. I would have stopped it if I could, but by then it was too late.
You make it sound as though you were the sane one.
The other gods knew what had to be done, but they lacked the will to go through with it. Even gods have their attachments. To erase all knowledge of such a grand thing required unthinkable devastation. The Eastern Reach, Deadfire. Mine was the only solution. When I called down Ioni Brother, they remained silent. Even Abaddon. He knew it was for the best. But he tried to stop it all the same. Perhaps deep down I knew he would. I should have expected it. I could have stopped it. You may ask.
Why did you pull down Ioni Brather?
The great conundrum of a god is how close to become with your subjects. Too far and they lose hope. Too close and your own judgment fails. Civilizations are meant to ebb and flow. Allow them to persist for too long in power or knowledge, and you invite catastrophe. There was a time when we let our sympathies get the better of us. When memories were allowed to persist that should have been washed away. The other gods could not be moved to act. I did what had to be done without them.
You were too close to a civilization? Which do you speak of?
I speak of what is forgotten. I failed that day, but my purpose was achieved in the end. I will not dredge up the memory to satisfy idle curiosity.
I need you to call off the eyeless.
On the contrary, mortal, their work must continue. Far too much was uncovered while they lay dormant.
You draw attention to the very things you wish hidden. In my dreams I have seen them swarming over the direwood.
Those who know too much of the White Forge will be washed clean from Eora, and then the eyeless shall rest once more.
This isn't some lone tribe of dwarves. The forge sees visitors from all over now. The eyeless will tear the direwood apart. It will never be forgotten. I see life around you stirs back and forth, agitated, restless.
Even if it is as you say, there is nothing that can be done. The eyeless do not think for themselves. They have only the purpose that is given to them. They do not stop until the purpose is fulfilled. They will not change course now for me or anyone. I am sorry.
Kyoto said they could be called off.
Only if those they pursue are no longer a threat. The raid Sarens were stopped before they could take the White Forge. In your case, Watcher, you are well beyond that now. And if what you say is true, then the Deerwood is as well.
This was your doing. You must intervene.
The interventions of gods seldom work out in anyone's favor. Our touch is too heavy. The world crumbles beneath it. It is why we so often enlist the help of mortals. They execute our wishes with greater care. I have done far too much already.
I guess I have to ask all these questions. I can't just leave. What does it matter? Something is remembered or forgotten. It's in the past in either case.
Memories are the spirits of the past. You of all people should know their sway on the present, Watcher.
Perhaps more than I'd care to admit.
Mortals measure the worth of their lives in memory. Who will remember me? How long until I am forgotten? Memory governs every thought, informs every choice. It can fuel passion, understanding, love, or it can create obsession, madness. You have seen it plague many souls in your travel. Consider the old Watcher who inherited unspeakable crimes from birth, or the young woman who committed herself to Brackenbury for love of things she remembered she had, or the fisherman whose life became a sentence the day he killed his sister, or the Glonfathen boy for whom an old medallion was worth more than all the fruits of his labors. They could be free from their burdens, if only they could forget.
The burdens exist for a reason. Why should they be allowed to forget?
Many such people gain these burdens through no fault of their own. Others act to redeem themselves only to find their memories will not forgive them. Even when problems have run their course, memory can be the stone that sinks you into the abyss.
Be that as it may, I must reject your moral paradigm because it endangers an complete conception of the good that fails to consider the importance of testing the soul.
Indeed. And what has led you to conclude you know better than a god, mortal?
Your supposition that peace in mind is tantamount to the overall good is a flawed premise. Empirically, we know that struggle and inner turmoil strengthen the soul as often as they strangle it.
My master could not have said it better.
That hardly sounds like an improvement on inner peace. Is that the extent of your argument?
No, actually, I submit to you that life is a framework to test the soul, and that an untested soul withers from disuse. Consequently, it is better to test the soul in order that it should thrive. If it breaks, it is no worse off than if it were not tested at all.
There may be hope for you yet, Watcher.
Your reasoning is interesting, mortal. Perhaps there is something to it. But it is not my will to simply do good. Those broken souls that fail your test, those are the ones I love most. For no other god will have them. What small mercies they ask of me, I will always grant. Was there something else, mortal?
No? How do I get out of this? Uh...
On the contrary, those who know, even if it the island, they will not change course. Your determination is commendable. But the eyeless number in the I will give you note if you I know if you can do all this, and I will see you through when the time comes.
Leave. Good. Jeez. I will make the hammer in the White Forge and stop the eyeless.
If you do not, be assured, They will come for you as they did for the Pargrunen. Careful as you approach the lake. When I claimed the Eyeless, I made sure they would not be discovered while they slept. Many of my most devoted followers stand watch there. They will not allow you near. And there is something far worse. Something more fearsome and dangerous than any Eyeless. Let us hope you do not attract its attention.
What is it? In place of an answer, a sudden surge in the current from beneath sends you hurtling upwards. The surface above you approaches fast, shifting and glimmering like quicksilver. You emerge soaking wet on the stone floor of the reliquary, grasping for breath as if you'd been holding it for hours. Thought I was stuck in that dialogue for a second there. Jeez. Like, where's the exit? What is this? Exceptional scale armor and a gem. Where does this go? The path ahead leads to the outskirts of the abbey. Would you like to stay for a minute? It just sent me down the tower. Make sure there's nothing else here. So now I can use the stairs. Okay, it was just a way down. Let's see if there's...
Nice and quiet.
They didn't leave a secret, purple secret here? What? It's an herb. Whoop-de-doo. Alright. We're out of here. Travel directly to the forge in Durgan's battery. Sounds perfect. So that's... Let's see. Reforge Abby's hammer. Save and hurry up. I think we're good. What do we have to do? It just says reforge the hammer. And we'll do it next time. I'm gonna be done for today. Thank you for everyone that watched. And for the next stream, we'll be playing the same thing. Hopefully we're getting close to the end. I think we are. End of this DLC and then the endgame content. after a couple dragons. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night. I'll see you later. Bye.